*811 *759 hash. *811 *759 hash.
Into the month of July, the year 2022, and the countdown to the August general election continues. Tonight, the church remains firm on its call to Kenyans to elect leaders of integrity. We'll also be letting you in on what the Kenya Kwanza Brigade was up to in Meru County, and Raila Odinga leading the Azimio la Umoja team in campaigns in Homa Bay County. Details of that contained in our comprehensive news bulletin that begins right now. But first, let's get the top stories. Touting his 250 billion shillings basket, Deputy President William Ruto calls on voters in Meru to back his presidency and rip big. Wooing Homa Bay County, Azimio leader Raila Odinga promises unparalleled development, urging locals to back his presidential ambition.
How do I score? Once you know your score, then score your president or presidential candidate, score your governors, your MCAs, all of them, score them. It's a guide to help you in identifying the correct leader.
And be wary of the wolf. The clergy warns Kenyans to be careful of false promises by the political class. All right, once again, welcome to the broadcast. My name is Serfine Achieng. John Jacob Kure is away tonight, but I'm doing this together with Lucy Mwaura on the sign language interpretation. Later on, I'll be joined by Richard Munga for the latest in the world of sports. Now, let's begin straight away. The Kenya Kwanza presidential candidate William Ruto has rallied residents of Meru County to support his presidency, saying they stand to benefit from a 250 billion shillings agricultural kitty. Speaking in Igembe, Ruto said his desire is to see Kenyans lead better lives.
Deputy President William Ruto led his team for campaigns in Meru region for the second day. The team saying their agenda was to make Kenya a food-secure country and that the locals will reap big from the 250 billion shillings burst for the agriculture sector, which in turn will bring down the cost of living.
Tulitoa mpango katika manifesto yetu, mpango ambayo tutapatia vijana wetu hawa ajira, mpango ambayo tutawezesha kila mkulima apate mapato ya sawasawa.
Ruto defending his track record as deputy president, saying the first administration of the current government achieved a lot.
Angalia track record yetu. Wakati nilikuwa na mshauri Rais Uhuru Kenyatta, tumejenga kilomita 700. Tumejenga barabara kilomita 1000.
Leaders accompanying him, including his running mate Rigathi Gachagua, lauding the Kenya Kwanza manifesto, saying it will address the many challenges facing the nation.
Kama ni maneno ya kupunguza unga bei, kupunguza shilingi 2 ndio kutukana kwa Kenya. Apeleke kwa sababu yeye ni waziri ako na mamlaka. Apeleke bei chini.
We cannot go wrong with William Samoei Ruto as the president of this country.
Msilazimishe kupigia mtu ambao hamtaki, tunaomba kura yenu.
Kuna rais ambaye atajali maslahi ya mwananchi mahali ambapo tunafanya bottom up.
Chairman UDA, we want a country that belongs to 40 million Kenyans and a country where nobody is left behind. Tumekubaliana ndugu zangu? Hii mlima inaitwa Mount Kenya. Hatugawangi kura zetu. Kura zetu tunawekanga kikapu moja. Tulikuwa tunangoja mwezi ya mwisho na ndio imefika.
In Kakamega, Musalia Mudavadi was leading another Kenya Kwanza team wing locals to support the presidency of William Ruto. Musalia saying the Kenya Kwanza team had a clear plan on how to change the country's economy that is now struggling.
Tulisimama tukaona kile kinasumbua wa Kenya ni uchumi. Maisha yamekuwa magumu zaidi. Na hawa ambao wako pale wanachezea wa Kenya, wanataka watupatie vibaraka ili wazidi kutunyanyasa. Hatuwezi kukubali.
Ukitaka kukua watu wa kubadilisha maisha yenu, mjue kura ambayo mnaenda kupiga ni kura ambayo inaenda kubainisha kati ya bei ya bidhaa kurudi chini ama bei ya bidhaa kuendelea kupanda juu.
For Sunday Express, I'm Ben Troenjue.
Thank you, Njiwe, for that report. Now, Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition presidential candidate Raila Odinga says his administration will ensure each Kenyan has access to basic needs such as clean water and affordable healthcare. Odinga, who led the Azimio campaigns in Homa Bay County on Sunday, said a vote for the coalition will be akin to a vote to eradicate poverty, corruption, ignorance and disease. Weekly for Kitch with details of that report.
Homa Bay County on Sunday played host to the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya's last of the 4 days campaigns in the larger Nyanza region. The coalition's captain Raila Odinga led rallies in Oyugis, Kindu Bay and Homa Bay Town, among other stops. Odinga told the gatherings that if elected president, his administration will focus on making the vision of the founding fathers, which includes a nation free of disease, ignorance and poverty, become a reality.
Sisi kama wanazimio tumesema tukishika hatamu ya utawala tutapunguza bei ya gharama ya juu. Bei ya unga itarudi chini. Bei ya sukari itarudi chini. Bei ya mafuta itarudi chini.
The former Prime Minister also pledged to tarmac all major roads across the country and make education and healthcare services accessible to all.
Tunakaa hapa leo, tunakula ugatuzi, tunaenjoy demokrasia kwa sababu ya jasho na nguvu ya Raila Amolo Odinga. Tumekubaliana mpaka hapo. Tunataka kuhakikishia Wakenya wote ahadi yoyote baba anaweka kwa hakika itakamilishwa. Unajua wewe ukienda kuomba kazi, unaambiwa utoe CV. Si kweli hiyo? Sasa sisi CV ya baba tunaona. Ilipokuwa mambo ya single party alivunja miguu ya single party akaleta demokrasia. Aliposema second liberation ikakuja second liberation. Si kweli hiyo? Huyu baba akiingia bei ya unga itakuwa ni nusu ya bei ya unga za hizi.
Other leaders in the entourage took issue with the claims by the Kenya Kwanza faction that Odinga derailed Jubilee's agenda through the handshake.
Niwaambie hivi, uongozi wa taifa unahitaji unyenyekevu. Si mambo ya makasiriko, si mambo ya kujipiga kifua. Wafugaji wote kaunti 12 naweza kusema, nitasema kwa niaba yao kwamba wafugaji wote wameungana kusema tarehe 9 mwezi wa 8 tunaingia ndege ya kwenda Canaan kwa sababu tunapigia kura rais wa 5 wa Jamhuri ya Kenya ambaye ni Raila. Sisi kule kwetu Central tunasema ni Jubilee na Azimio. Nyinyi watu wa hapa tunataka mjue hapa ni ODM.
Baba na jeshi yake na jeshi ni ODM. Kuanzia pale chini, gavana, seneta, women rep.
Odinga concludes his campaigns in Nyanza regions with 2 key messages to the electorate. The first is for the electorate to vote him into office to the last man come August 9. And the second for the electorate to vote only ODM candidates in this region to accord him firm grasp of the presidency in the event that is elected the 5th president of Kenya. Wycliffe Okech, Sunday Express from Homa Bay County.
Now from Homa Bay County, a section of the clergy has called on the church to play an active role in politics to help safeguard the morality of the nation. The provost of the All Saints Cathedral, Reverend Sami Wainaina, wants the church to resist anything that contradicts the aspirations of Kenyans as part of its role in holding the government accountable. In a related move, Bishop James Maria of the Murang'a Catholic Diocese called on Kenyans to be wary of the marijuana crusade being propagated by the Roots Party leader George Wajakoya. The clergy is calling on Kenyans to be cautious about their choice of leaders in the August 9th general election. At the All Saints Cathedral, Provost Reverend Sami Wainaina urged the church to play an active role in politics to help determine the direction of the country.
An election or political elections are a celebration of fundamental human freedom. Politics are so important that we must be involved in them as believers and as the church.
Wainaina challenged the political players to prioritize bridging the growing gap between the rich and the poor, which he termed as a recipe for disaster.
Kenya is only safe when everybody has the basic needs. So long as you have people who don't know what to eat this evening, this lunch, while others can eat anything they want, that's a dangerous country.
In Murang'a County, Bishop James Maria Wainaina of the Murang'a Catholic Diocese warned that the nation should be cautious of the proposal by the Roots Party leader George Wajakoya to legalize bhang.
We Kenyan people have seen how bhang has destroyed our families, rendering them destitute and making them havens of unthinkable domestic violence.
And Bishop Joseph Obanyi of the Catholic Church Kakamega Diocese challenged Kenyans to elect leaders who will uphold high moral standards in the country.
Tumesema ya kwamba tusichague wale viongozi ambao wanahubiri na kudumisha maadili maovu katika nchi. Kama yale ya utoaji wa mimba, tulisema kama vile kuhalalisha madawa ya kulevya.
In Embu County, religious leaders called on the president and his deputy William Ruto to resolve their differences. The leaders argue that the fallout between the two leaders is not good for this country.
Walianza vizuri na siku hizi vile tunaona ni kama mambo hayaendi vizuri sana. Lakini tunataka kusema mambo haya yakiendelea namna hiyo haifai na itujengi katika nchi hii. Kwa sababu kizazi ambazo tuko nacho, watoto wetu wanaangalia ile mambo vile yanaenda.
Still on matters politics, Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition Party Deputy Presidential Candidate Martha Karua says freedom of worship will be protected under an Azimio administration. Addressing a congregation at the Africa Divine Church in Nairobi, Karua, however, cautioned the faithful against falling prey to the charms of the corrupt politicians who have found heaven in some churches.
Azimio la Umoja running mate Martha Karua, accompanied by a host of Nairobi County leaders, attended African Divine Church for spiritual nourishment. Karua using the platform to warn Kenyans to beware of corrupt leaders hiding behind the church.
Ukiona mtu hana adabu akiomba kura, uelewe ukimpea ndio atakosa adabu kabisa. Na kuwa Mkristo sio ubatizo peke yake, na sio kuja kanisa, ni tabia.
Karua assured the faithful that an Azimio presidency will not curtail the freedom of worship, but rather work with the church for the betterment of the country.
Sema tunapambana na ufisadi, hakuna mama amebatiza mtoto wake mfisadi. Ufisadi ni mtu anajichagulia mwenyewe kuwa na hiyo tabia. Sababu kwa hivyo tukisema tutapambana na ufisadi, tunasema kwa wote, wawe kwa mlengo gani, na ni kisheria, sio kwa vile tutafikiria, na sheria iko na wale wanasimamia, sio wanasiasa.
Leaders accompanying Karua spoke of the need for peaceful campaigns devoid of threats and intimidation.
Nyinyi watu wa kanisa msiogope kukemea miti ambayo haijatoa matunda kwa miaka ambayo wamepewa kuwa katika uongozi. Tunataka miti ambayo haijatoa matunda miaka 9 ambayo wamekuwa katika serikali. Mkemee, mseme inyauke, na sisi tutaunga hiyo mkono kabisa.
Na sisi tukiongoza campaign katika Nairobi yote, tukipikania Azimio, we just want to assure you that you will be safe in the hands of Baba na Mama hapa Nairobi.
Meanwhile, Makueni Senator Mutula Kilonzo Jr. has warned the IEBC against using manual registers during the August general elections, saying doing so could lead to the nullification of poor results by the courts.
Any manual transmission of results is going to cause us problems, and we refuse that provision, and it's called Section 44A.
In Kiambu County, Chama cha Kazi gubernatorial candidate Moses Kuria has called on leaders to practice decorum in the hunt for votes.
Safari raia ndio wanaamua, na ningependa pia kumwombewa viongozi waache hasira, sababu hata Waswahili wanasema hasira ni hasara, na usikasirikie watu.
Gisho Kiwashira, Sunday Express.
All right, and we will continue with our coverage of the political developments in the country in this particular bulletin. Very shortly, we'll be letting you know the women's struggle to have a seat at the decision-making table come the 2022 general election, plus an exclusive feature done on the Nairobi Expressway that will be letting you in on how Kenyans have received it as 70 billion shillings investment. What has been the impact? All that coming up in just a bit. Let's take a break now.
Every day, over 15 million members are transforming Africa. Million members empowered to learn, to grow, to harvest, to lead, to dream. Karibu member.
I'd like to officially welcome you to the coolest club in the 254. In other words, this is the best.
And on this second part, we begin with some unfortunate news. 4 people have been reported dead after an accident involving a matatu and a trailer in Kosachei area near Tarbo along the Eldoret-Webuye highway. Confirming the incident was in Gishu police boss Ayub Gitonga said a Nissan matatu first rammed into a lorry that was heading to Webuye, killing 2 people on the spot. Later, during the evacuation exercise, a trailer heading to Webuye rammed onto a second matatu before overturning. 2 other people died while being taken to the hospital.
These are the remains of the early Sunday morning accident along the Eldoret-Webuye highway.
Hata mimi nilikuwa nalala, sikuwa najua chochote. Nilishtukia tu nagongwa kichwa. Yaani niko chini, siku hata najielewa, nimefinywa kila mahali. Lakini waliweza kuniokoa kidogo. Hii mkono ilikuwa imefinywa kabisa.
Tumetoa mwito kwa kampuni ambazo zina hiyo cranes ya kusaidia kuinua, watusaidie kwa sababu kuna watu sahihi wangali kwa gari ndani na hii lori imelalia wana nzito.
According to Tarbo Senior Chief David Samoei, the 14-seater matatu belonging to Twepen Sacco rammed into another vehicle, killing 2 people on the spot.
Hapa penye tumesimama kuna watu vijana karibu 3 wamegongwa, wamekufa hapa kila wakati. So tunaomba kwamba watu wa Kenya National Highway Authority wajaribu kusaidia ili kupunguza mbio ya magari.
Samoei says moments later during the evacuation, a trailer belonging to Webuye rammed into another matatu belonging to the Nas Sacco before overturning. More than 10 people were injured in the accident and are receiving treatment at a hostel in Tarbo under the Moi Teaching and Referral Hostel in Eldoret.
Kuna manusura ambao wamepelekwa hospitali na ninataka kusema asante kwa kaunti yetu ya Uasin Gishu kwa kuchukua nafasi haraka na kuja kusaidia watu kuwakimbiza hospitali.
Ninaomba sana polisi, nimefika hapa tunajaribu kuomba polisi gloves jameni. Polisi hawana gloves hiyo ni makosa kubwa. Mimi nimewahi kuwa police officer na polisi anakuja accident na hawana gloves ya kusaidia sisi ili tuokoe binadamu na tutashika mwili ya watu.
Timothy Kipnusu for Sunday Express.
A really tragic turn of event there. Now on to the COVID-19 situation in the country. 1 person has succumbed to COVID-19 in the last 24 hours. The positivity rate is now at 8.4% after 194 people tested positive in the last 24 hours from a sample size of 2,319. The total confirmed cases now stand at 334,443. Over 3.7 million tests have been conducted nationally. The death toll now stands at 5,656. Statistics from the Ministry of Health indicate that 18.86 million vaccines have been administered across the country. 31.9% of adults have now been fully vaccinated. According to data from the Johns Hopkins Coronavirus Resource Center, over 548 million COVID-19 infections have been confirmed globally, with over 6.3 million deaths being reported since the pandemic began. Now, Kenyans have been urged to embrace early cancer screening to avoid complications in management and costs associated with late detection. The founder of the Teresa Bubalicious Cancer Foundation, Lilian Marita, says early detection of the disease reduces management burden and can be easily addressed. Ms. Marita appealed to the 2 levels of government, the national and the county governments, to increase screening centers across the country.
Breast cancer remains the leading cause of cancer in women in Kenya, with more than 50% of the cases presenting in women below the age of 50. This not only causes family stress, but also drain their resources if not well managed at an early stage. But medical experts are of the view that if well sensitized, the public can deal with the situation at the nascent stage.
The biggest challenge in cancer is not even in the treatment. It is in the lack of awareness. which is what we need to invest in as a country, to create awareness, to have annual medical checkups at the local hospital that we have in our own homes. Because
the stakeholders have further noted that there is a need for the country to acquire more screening equipment that will aid in the fight against this silent killer disease.
The government needs to focus on this monster killer because it is a silent disease which does not give any invitation when it is attacking. And when our women are suffering from it, they don't get that early screening. That is where I'm urging our government, at least we have supplies of medical equipment, especially screening machines, into our local villages, our local communities, so that our mothers can have access into that.
The co-founder of Teresa Bubalisha's Cancer Foundation, Isaiah Akenga, noted that the organization aims at decentralizing cancer services in the country and create more awareness to avert more deaths attributed to breast cancer.
We're expecting to go back to the villages because that's where mortality rate is so high. However, people don't understand exactly what's happening. We are targeting in Kisii County and Nyamira County, and we are working from Nairobi County. So we have 3 counties which we are virtually targeting.
Jacqueline Masharia for Sunday Express.
Now, on to the exclusive report about the Nairobi Expressway, the 70 billion shillings project that was opened for the pilot period has proven to be a game changer for the Kenya's road development network. The road that was opened by Transport Cabinet Secretary James Macharia is set to enhance competitiveness of the country within East African region and reclaim Nairobi as a business hub of choice. Elvis Otieno takes us through the performance and the benefits of the road, including its reception by Kenyans.
At the word traffic, what comes to your mind as a Kenyan is the daily congestion witnessed on various roads within Nairobi city. Long travel duration and even delayed appointments are the effects to the same. And for this reason, the expressway was implemented. The 27.1 kilometers Nairobi Expressway that stretches from Westlands to Mlolongo came about as a solution to the nightmare motorists along Mombasa Road was subjected to by hours they spent in traffic jams. Major works began on 1st July 2020, and in barely 2 years, it was 99% complete with an 18 kilometers at-grade main line, 3 bridges spanning 270 meters, and 8.6 kilometers of the viaduct. 2 overpasses at Mlolongo and Syokimau, 3 underpasses at Jomo Kenyatta International Airport and Museum Hill, and 4 pedestrian crossings replacing those dismantled during its construction. On 14th May 2022, it was opened on trial basis, and within a month the toll road had served over 423,000 vehicles. At the Museum Hill exit, we noted a long queue for motorists paying cash. Motorists who had on-board unit fitted spent barely 3 seconds. The other payment option is the card, which takes 13 seconds to clear at the exit.
There's a little bit of traffic when you're leaving the expressway because not all people has cash. Some of us have to use like M-Pesa. And I think they should try a way of distributing ETC, automatic transfer exit.
Major socio-economic benefits of the expressway include reduced congestion along AH Road, also known as Mombasa Road, and reduced journey times that will see Kenyans save an estimated of 50 million shillings that is lost daily. Other benefits are inclusive of a direct transfer of technology through educational and industrial tours, business opportunities for local supply chain, and job creation of more than 3,000 jobs. Not forgetting a corporate tax that will see the government collect about 37.1 billion shillings during operations and maintenance.
The charges, like now, nimelipishwa 360. As a normal Kenyan, I wouldn't mind if it was subsidized to about 100 or something, but nikukaa tu venye wamesema.
Charges, I believe, are a bit too high. For an average Kenyan, it is quite high. They need to do something about the charges, make it a bit more reasonable.
Fuel, I think I'm saving, but charges,
it's not too high, but if possible to reduce this distance, now is around 180. If possible to 150 or 120, it's very good for us.
Some motorists, however, appreciated the savings on fuel when using the expressway.
So it has really shortened our distance and shortened our fuel, usage of fuel. As per now, fuel is very high.
I was timing it and it's taken us 10 minutes to get here. So I believe that has sorted it out, because if you do it from the other road, it's going to be much longer.
Sentiments echoed by the Kenya National Highway Authority Chairman Engineer Wangai Ndiragu lauded the project for helping reduce a quarter of the traffic on Mombasa Road.
We are seeing about a quarter of the traffic that ply this route have turned to the expressway. That means we have a quarter less traffic on the other road. And you see that therefore even the right or the other road users is more comfortable and less congested. So I think as a system, the operators get more acquainted and asking how better to serve. It's in the best interest of Moja Company to increase the number of road users. So as we go by, there are some thoughts coming whether we should introduce a peak and off-peak charges, whether you should have a provision for a monthly card. All these options are in the mind of an operator. And I think we are leaving it to the efficiency of the private sector to balance between revenues and and the volume, and I'm sure an optimum level will be achieved in time.
Security concerns posed by the road to Parliament buildings, Kabete Barracks, Villa Rosa Kempiski, Kenya Broadcasting Corporation, Nairobi Synagogue, among other locations, are being addressed. 9 billion shillings has also been set aside for restoration of Mombasa Road and its improvements, such as the areas near Imara Daima Junction and Jomo Kenyatta International Airport that experiences flooding during the rainy season. Indeed, the expressway has proven to be a game changer for Kenyans as a step in improving the transport network system of Nairobi City, and is set to boost the economic status of the country to enhance its competitiveness within the Eastern African region. Reporting for Channel 1 News, I am Elvis Otieno.
Great reporting there by Elvis Otieno about the Nairobi Expressway. Seems like so far so good, but we would like to know your experience, how you have felt, or some of the issues you have, concerns you can raise with regards to using that particular expressway. Do engage us on social media at KBC Channel 1. Use the hashtag Sunday Express. Now, moving on to the counties, residents from Kilifi County have raised concerns over the competency of some leaders vying for various political positions in the coming general elections. They have lamented how unfortunate it is that some hopefuls cannot express themselves and that their capacity to provide leadership is questionable. Details of this and other stories are in our county news roundup.
The residents of Kilifi County say their interest is to get a leader who is going to address the issues affecting the people, such as health, tourism, education and job creation.
Tuonyeshe ule uzalendo kwa nchi inapenda amani, tukuwe na amani katika nchi, tufanye uchaguzi wetu wa salama salimini. Ninaomba ule governor atakayeingia ataweza kuangalia mambo ya tourism, kwa sababu katika Malindi yetu hii sisi huwa tunategemea tourism hapa Malindi.
On the Intergovernmental Relations Technical Committee Chairman Kithinji Kiragu said despite teething problems, devolution has produced good results in most counties.
All county governments have performed satisfactorily, given where we have come from, but they can do much better. Even with the problems of corruption, even with the problems of inefficiencies in the county governments, devolution has been good for the.
Kiragu said health and water are among the best performing sectors in the devolved units. He, however, said agriculture sector should be given more attention.
They need to look at the devolution from a more strategic rather than administrative and political perspective.
Finally, cooperative societies have urged the government to consider channeling the social protection funds through SACCOs, claiming it will ease access of beneficiaries.
Sisi kama wanachama ama the SACCOs tuko katika hali ambayo Pengine tungeweza kusaidiwa kama societies. Tunaweza kufikia mwananchi kwa njia ya rahisi na tunaweza kumfikia mwananchi kwa njia ya usawa.
Daimasaka Society Chief Executive Officer Wawira Mbogo added that these societies are easily accessible at the grassroots and are designed to uplift the lives of low-income earners. Yusufar reporting for Sunday Express.
Do you have a news story to share with KBC? Get in touch swiftly on email news@kbc.co.ke or call 0723-892-654 or 0734-780-124.
Our arts and entertainment industry has evolved over the years.
It is at such times that our destinies are written. Will we rise up in courage or die in cowardice?
Who are the movers and shakers in film and theatre? Get trendy as we review locally produced films and stage drama every Wednesday at 9 p.m. on Cinemas and Theatre.
Brought to you by the Kenya Film Commission. Film Kenya, Capture Africa.
Things won't be done my way and how I want it.
I really hate being his son.
Welcome back. And now moving on, women represent about 50% of the population in most countries, yet their absence in the decision-making and leadership positions is a growing concern. As the countdown to the August polls continues, we take a look at the looming shakeup in the male-dominated political scene, with a record number of women candidates lining up to face it off with their male counterparts. The move is seen as a determination to end the decades-long season of marginalization, discrimination and exclusion of women in leadership. The 2022 general election has morphed into a litmus test of the inclusion of women in key leadership positions. Unlike the 2013 and the 2017 general elections, a record number of women have been cleared to vie for what is regarded as the second most powerful political office in the land after the presidency, the governor's seat. This raises the possibilities of more counties having more women leaders. But what does vying for such an elective seat in a society where patriarchy dominates the political space entail? Meet Mwende Gatabaki. She is an aspiring governor of the second largest county in Kenya, Kiambu County. It's a race that is pitting her against male political heavyweights, including the incumbent governor, James Nyoro, two-term Kiambu Senator Kimani Wamatangi, former county boss William Kabogo, Gatundu South Member of Parliament Moses Kuria, and Thika Town Member of Parliament Patrick Wainaina alias Wajango. Despite the obvious looming political showdown, she remains optimistic about her quest.
They need to give us a chance, the two women, and we compete. You know, I'm not worried about competition. Competition is good, but the men need to step down because they have failed.
Threats, intimidation, and insecurity are her biggest concerns.
You'll find someone, they're talking to me and they're touching me, like here, you know, my shoulders, and I'm saying, you know, I have to take their hand nicely and tell them, by the way, I'm listening, you know. They never do that with men. Even when there is a bit of, you know, a shouting match and etc., they will never come close to the man. But to the woman, they will be talking right here, you know, next to your eyes, right here. They can even be spitting on your face, you know, that kind of thing. So security, and if we could be provided security as women.
Inspired by her desire to implement what she says is her transformative agenda, Mwende challenges aspiring women leaders to be assertive.
So the first core pillar and my priority right now is the social pillar. And here, social pillar is about people. It's about homes. It's about rebuilding our social fabric. The second one is the economic pillar. The economic pillar is about creating opportunities, creating jobs. The third pillar is what I would call water, sanitation, and environment.
Mwende is among the growing list of women who, by example, are sustaining the country's fight for freedom. Freedom from the economic and socio-cultural barriers to the inclusion of women in leadership.
Right now, we only have three women governors. There is Anne Waiguru, there is Charity Ngilu, and there is the governor for Nairobi County. 3 women. 3 out of 47, really, truly, is it's totally not acceptable. In a country where women are actually more than men.
A report by the National Democratic Institute and the Federation of Women Lawyers in Kenya, which sought to review the performance of women in the 2017 general election, revealed that women now hold 172 of the 1,883 elective seats, a clear indication of the existing inequality in leadership, even after the introduction of the electoral gender quota system domiciled in the 2010 Constitution, whose intent was to increase women's participation in politics.
But I'll be calling even on some of our sisters, when they get to parliament, it is their responsibility to also push for this sincerely. Because we've also seen stories where we are told in this debate, if women were in New York. We've heard all manner of things. However, I don't want us to go there. I am not very good in dealing with negative issues. I like being positive. What has not happened has not happened. We are here celebrating a woman Chief Justice, right?
Martha Wangari Karua.
According to Mwiu, the impact of the recent appointment of a female presidential running mate is a sign that a new dawn is beckoning.
We don't want to miss the excitement of a woman deputy president also, because that makes us feel 50-50 right now. That alone has been the game changer. You've seen governors including Kina Mutula, young people, Kina Kuria, everybody's going for a woman. It cannot be better than that. If you didn't pick a woman, sorry, this game is going the other side.
And what is her strategy of preserving the gains made in the progressive journey of women inclusion in leadership?
They need to be governors. They want to be deputy governors. But can we women of Kenya lead with very high integrity so that the future will judge us very fairly? Can we walk values which are worth a Kenyan woman?
As the countdown to the August polls continues, a major shakeup is indeed looming in a political landscape that has been predominantly male, with women candidates determined to secure a seat at the decision-making table. All right, and we'll have to wait until the 9th of August to find out how many women will make it to that decision-making table. And that report takes us to yet another break right here on Sunday Express. Richard Munga is coming up next with the latest in the world of sports.
The Africa FIBA 2023 World Cup qualifiers enter the third phase from July 1st to 3rd. Kenya will contest for the coveted World Cup slots when it takes on hosts Egypt, Democratic Republic of Congo and Senegal.
Guess who's on it? Woo! Which gives Kenya another chance to round an even better draw of big!
Watch the matches live from Alexandria, Egypt on KBC Channel 1 starting on July 1st to 3rd. KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner.
Oh, good evening. My name is Richard Munga with the latest in the world of sports and our top story tonight. National basketball team Morans began their 2023 Basketball World Qualifiers on a sour note after going down 39-72 to host Egypt in a match played last night at the Burj El Arab Hall in Alexandria. The top three teams in each group advanced the second round of the qualifiers, and the matches are being beamed live from KBC Channel 1. Meanwhile, GSU volleyball team boosted their chances of retaining their league title after securing a 3-0 win over Prisons Kenya in a league match that was played today at the Nyayo National Stadium. The Gideon Teru's charges came from behind to win the first set 25-23. Prisons Kenya, however, did not lose hope but lost the second set 25-18. GSU would then again go ahead to win the third set 25-16 to bag maximum points. The Tarus-led boys remain top of the table and are optimistic of defending the title that they won last season. Now, Thika handball team enhanced their chances of winning this year's Handball League title after defeating Buccaneers 35-31 in a league match played today at the Nyayo National Stadium in Nairobi. In another match, Rangers women's team defeated JKUAT 34-21 at the same venue. The league will continue next weekend with several matches on card. And to other matters now, whereby reigning coast champion Suleiman Fadhili is the winner of the 2022 Red Bull Street Style National Football Challenge that was held in Nairobi last night. Meanwhile, over 400 participants turned out for the Inter-County Fitness Challenge that was held in Eldoret to sensitize the public on the need for keeping fit and promoting peace and cohesion during the current electioneering period.
The 36-year-old Suleiman Fadhili edged former national ace Martin Kibera by 0.5 points to be crowned the new Kenyan king.
Tarisho yangu ilikuwa tu ni kufanya mazoezi all the time, asubuhi na jioni nafanya exercise na siogopi kujaa michanga kwa manguo ama watu kuniona juu mimi nilikuwa najua nataka mwili wangu uzoe kile kitu mimi nataka.
Street style football is the art of doing tricks with a football, performing impossible feats to dazzle the crowds. The trick involved juggling, controlling and balancing the ball impressively with almost a magical adhesion. As a result of the feat, Fadhili walked away with 70,000 shillings cash prize and will represent Kenya in the Continental Virtual Contest slated for July.
Initially, we were being mixed up with guys from Europe, Asia, and South America. But now we have a very good chance of going to the world platform where we're going to meet other really skillful young people from Africa. And then the winner from that competition will go on to the world stage.
Meanwhile, over 400 participants turned out for the Inter-County Fitness Challenge, which was held in Eldoret. The challenge, which is held monthly, is aimed at sensitizing the public on the need for keeping fit, and organizers used it to preach the need of promoted peace and cohesion during the election period.
Here in Uasin Gishu, we keep peace. We believe that this coming election, we have this challenge from different counties, people from different tribes. We have come here together, no matter which tribe you are.
Kufanya working out ni mzuri kwa sababu unaepuka madhara ya kimwili, nasema lifestyle diseases. Sasa unaepuka hizo ukifanya workout.
The challenge, which was launched last year, is open to the public participation. The organizers target to take the challenge to more counties in Kenya before the August 9th elections.
Now, often at times we do not have a clue about men and women who work hard to make it possible for sports teams to compete well both locally and internationally. For many years, wheelchair basketball has not been considered favorably, but now disability has been turned into ability. Alfred Simiyu has risen from a team player to a coach to the president of the Kenya Wheelchair Basketball Federation. Sports reporter Kengori Mwangi shares the story of Simiyu, having defied all odds to become president of a sports federation in Kenya.
For the very first time in history, wheelchair basketball team will be competing at Commonwealth Games. Alfred Simiyu, though physically challenged, is proud to be one of the pioneers of the sport.
Wheelchair basketball was formed in, 2002, though we started playing in 1998 when one of our Paralympian coaches went to Atlanta. I think it was 96. She saw this sport being played there, and she felt that it's good for us also to start such a sport in Kenya.
His motivation to join sports was so different despite having tried different disciplines.
I just got motivated when I was still young. Wakati tulikuja Nairobi kucheza this wheelchair racing is when I met some elite athletes who had been participating internationally, and now they motivated me from that point.
Every sports opportunity is never taken for granted.
Sisi ni walemavu wengi, na kuna walemavu ambao tuko pale bado hatujajua profession yetu katika sports ni ipi. So wengi wote tunajaribu karibu kila ile sports inayotokelezea. Sport yoyote ikitokea geni, unapata wale walikuwa wanacheza hiyo ingine wanakuja pia wanajaribu hiyo. So unapata wale ambao watakuwa wazuri pale wanawachwa pale, ingine ikitokea wale walikuwa pale wanaenda ingine. Now like that, so tulikuwa tunagawanyika hivyo.
And he has made some achievements in life.
I was one of the pioneers who started this wheelchair basketball. Then I left wheelchair basketball. Then I introduced table tennis wheelchair table tennis in Kenya. I was part of the team that introduced wheelchair tennis in Kenya. Again, I was the first pioneers to introduce sitting volleyball in Kenya. And I was the very first Secretary General of sitting volleyball. Nowadays it's called Paravolley.
Fortunately, stigmatization has ever caught up with him.
Those later days, when I was passing by, you find that all the conversation stops and they start looking at you. There's if like, now how is this person walking? They feel they see as if you are not a human being. And actually we suffered stigma before even accepting ourselves. But later on, when after some time and this Disability Act, when it came into place, now this discrimination and looking down on you, at least it was reduced.
With proper facilitation, this is an open chance for success.
We need courts around the country, particularly in every county, to have at least a court whereby we can be playing our sports.
Simiyu is optimistic the Kenya 3x3 wheelchair basketball team will be at their very best at Commonwealth Games in Birmingham, England.
For us to have an opportunity to go and participate in Commonwealth is one of the major achievements. What we are aiming there is at least to be in medal brackets. That's it.
Besides sports, he also has other interests.
Traveling, I love traveling much.
And to the upcoming stars,
whatever they are doing, let them not give up. Because for me, if I would have given up, maybe I would have not traveled anywhere. Just push on in life. Because nothing they will get from a silver plate.
Disability is not inability. Alfred Simiyu is now the president, Kenya Wheelchair Basketball Federation, shifting this team from disability to ability. Now people living with disability are now conquering the world all over. Reporting for KBC, I'm Kingori Mwangi.
Wow. A great story there by King Ngori Mwangi about the president of the Kenya Wheelchair Basketball Federation, Alfred Simiyu.
Of course.
A president on a wheelchair who has really just given hope to those who are persons with disabilities in the country to participate in the sport, and also gone further to decorate Kenya's reputation as a sporting hub. Really inspiring. I like how we winding it up on a very positive note.
On a very positive note indeed, and it's actually quite impressive to see the focus that has been put, let's say, focusing on the plight of these athletes, because, before people were not really, some people can name, let's say, other athletes who compete in these races or even other sports, but it's impossible for most. But of late, at least we've been, highlighting all that, and it's actually inspirational, moving forward, more people supporting the Paralympics. It's a good sign, really. That report, of course, winds up KBC Sports today, as well as Sunday Express. But just a second, Serfine, if you allow me, for the motorsports fans, of course, the 10th leg of the Formula One season, of course, was held today in Silverstone, that is in England, whereby Lewis Hamilton, of course, coming in third on the home ground. Not a bad performance considering the season that he has had. The race was won by Ferrari's Carlos Sainz, while Sergio Perez of Red Bull was at position 2, meaning that Verstappen finished 6th, but he's still the current leader on the standings, followed by Perez, while the two Ferraris follow behind. So we're going to be updating you more on that as we plan, of course, for the next leg. That's it for me. Do have a good night.
All right, then that's it for me as well. Thank you for catching Sunday Express tonight. Have a good night and God bless. My name is Serfine Achieng, and our sign language interpreter tonight has been Lucy Mwaura.
Good night.